Accusations of all sorts are constantly making headlines right now. Allegations of physical abuse, sexual misconduct, etc. But what happens when the accusations turn out to be false and innocent people's lives are ruined? Forensic scientist lawyer Anne-Marie Rizzo is here from the Law Place to explain the responsibility of the burden of proof. Welcome back.
Hi.
It seems
Happy
like
New Year.
Happy New Year. We hear about this all the time. Someone accuses another person of something and then an arrest is made. Where does the burden of proof fall to who did what?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. Even on smaller scales where they're not as major, all over the news, viral stories, it could be as simple as one person accusing another person of hitting them. And we see it a lot in family domestic violence situations where it could be just as simple as he said, she said. Someone fills out an affidavit and handcuffs are on and someone's taken to jail. And there may not be anything that really corroborates the stories.
But then you have a record.
Then you have a record. You have to deal with everything that comes with that.
So at that stage, evidence is not important, just an accusation and affidavit is enough to get someone?
It can be,
Isn't that scary to all of us on some level that we could get arrested because of a he said, she said?
Yes.
Right. I've had cases where it was somebody who wasn't even involved, thought they saw something, and when they actually started questioning the two people that were involved, it wasn't what that person thought they saw, but yet someone still got arrested.
Oh, can you defend them and then get it off their record?
So in some cases, yes, you can then follow through with an expungement or a sealing of their record depending on how the case ultimately shakes out. But there are certain offenses that are disqualifying under the Florida Department of Law Enforcement that will keep it from ever being able to be expunged. So you will always have that arrest record.
Oh, that's
What's scary? Let's talk about a pyramid that sort of talks about how prosecutors and defense people have to show who's telling the truth, who isn't, who has the burden of proof.
Absolutely. So I have the pyramid that I use for my jury trials all the time to explain this to jurors. And when we look at the bottom, I have on the period of the pyramid is the probable cause. That's what a cop needs to arrest somebody, no matter what the criminal offense is. So it's a very, very low standard of what they need.
So you can end up arrested.
Right. And so then we get to the different levels that we see in our court system. So preponderance of the evidence, that's when we see people who are suing for a car accident and it's a civil dispute, one versus the other kind of thing. Contract disputes, that sort of thing. Clear and convincing evidence, parental rights as it shows on here. So usually when you have parents who their rights are getting terminated, there's allegations through the Department of Children and Families that their children are being neglected. If the judges and the courts want to take the parents' rights away, then you need that clear and convincing evidence. And that's a really important standard for me when I'm explaining this to a jury, because a lot of people understand, well, if we're going to terminate someone's rights to their children and beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal case is above that, then there is a serious level of what we are needing to prove a criminal case when someone is accused of a crime, when we're on such a lower level just to get them arrested.
Wow.
So if someone accuses me of something and they go ahead, I get arrested, you know, goes through the court process. I hire you. You are able to prove that I didn't do it. There's evidence shows that I didn't do it. All that comes out, but I still have been arrested.
You know what's interesting in what you just said? I hire you and you're able to prove. So everyone has this concept of what truly is our system of innocent until proven guilty. But unfortunately in real life, the defense has to prove the innocence.
That's what doesn't make sense.
And
yes.
as much as the jurors are explained that it's the prosecutors that carry that burden of proof, the defense still has to show that what the evidence was or lack thereof is not enough to proceed on. So when I was a prosecutor, I took it very seriously when I formally charged someone that I knew if it went to a jury trial, I had that proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
And if I'm arrested, I need a defense attorney right away so that I don't end up charged. It's bad enough I'm arrested, but I'd like to keep those formal charges.
Right.
Well, right, your job,
respect
your
in the
everything.
community, and those are things that are so hard to get back.
And surprisingly, there's evidence that can get erased within 30 days.
Oh.
So as what I do in my practice is I don't just rely on what the prosecutors say they have. I get in big cases, I'll have investigators and accident reconstructionists, depending on what type of the case is, so we can try to preserve that evidence that could go away. For instance, the messages that the cops send to each other on their computers. You know, that could be really important
yeah.
information that we're not getting, but if we get that gets erased right away. Then we have an idea of what is it that was originally reported through 911 or dispatched to the police officers. Those are really, really important information because that's where you try to find the inconsistencies.
And social media,
Yeah.
and
Right.
texts that were
Social
sent.
media.
Forensic attorney is all the more
Yeah, I mean,
important.
the science aspect of it is crucial because that stuff can go away or can try to be hidden. You know, like that case in Tampa with the educators. You know, the kids tried to manipulate the text messages, but a forensic analyst was able to go in there and see that these text messages had been manipulated.
So forensics end up key in many cases. We hope nobody needs any of this, but it is valuable information, and Anne Marie has it. To have her help with any legal questions, you can go to thelawplace.com. Coming up next, we're Singing in the Rain with the Player Center. Wow.